Well, hello. What's up, everybody? It's your pal, Val, and welcome to this week's episode. I'm your host, Val, and I'm very excited to be here today for our third episode. We, in fact, are going to have a special guest. I will not reveal her yet, but I'm going to just briefly introduce our episode by saying that we're kind of in the segment of the podcast where I want to bring people on, interview. As you all know, anyone who wants to reach out to me and come on the podcast, you are more than welcome. We have a hefty schedule coming up in the next couple of weeks, so please stay listening because I think that you are going to enjoy the conversations that will be had. One thing I do want to mention is that I am recording here on the Fairfield University's campus, and we are seeming to be experiencing some technical difficulties today with power outages and whatnot. So I just want to make it known that I am recording this episode and I am working to upload it to something like Spotify or a listening platform. So if in the event that the Wi-Fi goes out or you're not able to hear me, do not worry. We are experiencing some difficulties over here on my end, and eventually this episode will be available for you to re-listen. So, hello, welcome again. Thank you all for tuning in. My old listeners who have been here since, episode 1, I really appreciate you. And anyone who's come along since then, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So, today I am going to be introducing our special guest, but before we do so, we are going to play a couple of songs that she has asked me to play because they, for some reason, really define her as a person, and she wants, this to be her introduction into the show, and I figured, hey, it's a radio show, and we can make that happen. So I am going to start out by playing a song, and it's called Volcanic Love by the Aces, and full disclosure, I personally haven't even listened to this all the way through myself, so this is going to be a listening journey for all of us if you haven't heard the first one. So here we go.
Under the ashes, I'm on
All right. And thank you very much, Emma, for that suggestion. And Mary, thank you so much for coming in and helping me out, because turns out I did not have the volume up on my computer. So, yay. That was probably my problem last week and this week.
No, it was me. I broke the system.
So, anyway, that was the song Volcanic Love by the Aces. I had not listened to it all the way through before, but I must say I enjoyed it, and I appreciate the opportunity to listen to it. So now that we're here, we can finally introduce our guest, who is Emma Ferrara. No, Ferrara. I keep saying it wrong. Ferrara.
You can pronounce it both ways. I just accept it at this point.
No, that's awesome. So, welcome to your pal Val. It's your first episode.
Thank you.
We on the show are very excited to have you. And why don't you just give yourself a brief introduction? Like, who are you? Where are you from? Very kind of like a brief intro.
Okay. Obviously, my name is Emma Ferrara. I'm from Long Island, New York. Originally from Westchester. I lived in Westchester for 16 years of my life. And now I'm back in Long Island. So I live in, like, the Garden City area, Nassau County, for anyone listening that knows the area. Maybe Madison is, I don't know. But, yeah, that's me.
All right, cool. So I'm not going to ask you to describe yourself in a few words, because I feel like that's weird and awkward. So describe your current mood.
I'm extremely tired. I was up until 2 o'clock. No, that's wrong. I was up until 3:30. I finished a paper at around 2 a.m. And is it not working?
No, I'm trying to adjust it so it's a little closer.
Okay. I finished a paper at 2 a.m. and walked all the way back from the library. So it's been a fun night. I got barely 4 hours of sleep, but you know what? I run on barely any sleep anyways, like all the time. So
that's the life of a college student. New. Yeah. Well, okay. So basically tired.
Yeah, like very tired, but keeping going as much as I can.
Good to know. All right. So here's a positive spin. What are you most excited about at the moment?
Ooh. Okay. This is going to sound really stupid, but one of my favorite things ever, and once again, it's going to sound like gibberish to everyone because no one understands any of the things that I like to an extent, but I'm a D&D nerd, so there is a...
Can we elaborate? That's Dungeons and Dragons, e-gaming, esports, right?
It's not it's a tabletop role-playing game.
Okay.
It's been around since the 80s.
Oh my gosh, like Ready Player One?
Yeah, like have you seen Stranger Things?
No.
Okay, so people who have seen Stranger Things know that, like, D&D ties into really, like, the entire show.
Okay.
Like, the plot of the show, it really comes in towards the most recent season.
Season 4?
Yes.
And they're only coming back for one more, right?
Yeah, season 5, and then they're done. But, D&D, it's a tabletop role-playing game. It's been around since the 80s.
Like the stick? The joystick? Nothing? I'm trying to relate this to what I know from Ready Player One.
No. So, it's... literally does not involve, like, any kind of electronics at all unless you're using D&D Beyond for recording purposes, for, like, recording your character stuff. And,
okay, like for streaming online.
Yeah. But you roll dice the whole time. And, like, dice decide your fate. And that's really it. You make a character sheet, write out
Oh, so this is, like, completely not even electronic. Like,
no, it's all on paper.
Wow.
And you have the Dungeon Master, who literally controls everything that happens in the game. Mm-hmm. But you decide what your character does and how your character approaches the problems that they come across.
Okay.
So dice basically control the entire thing.
Wait, so if maybe I'm thinking of the wrong scene. And again, my very limited knowledge of these topics, which I'm trying to, like, understand them better. And hopefully my audience is kind of, like, coming from the same spot. And, like, they're not like, Val, you're an idiot too. But you know what? Whatever. So, like, you know, like, the first scene when they're, like, at the school and then, like, in the basement there's, like, that dragon thing. Do you know Ready Player One? Or maybe this is just... Because if you don't, that makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I know Ready Player One. I've seen Ready Player One.
So, like, the first time he gets the key or whatever.
Oh, no, girl, no. That's
different.
It might be.
It was like an arcade game.
I don't remember it. It might be. I'm not 100%. But if you've seen Stranger Things, you'd probably know D&D.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners probably do. I'm just not one of those cultured people.
So, my favorite
So you're excited because D&D.
My favorite D&D group, they're part of a company called Critical Role. It's a group of voice actors that all sit and play D&D together on Thursday nights. So if you've seen me like facing my phone on a Thursday night in the lounge somewhere,
which I have,
that's basically that's exactly what I'm watching.
Okay, good to know.
It's a 4.5-hour stream. They do every Thursday, except for the last Thursday of the month. And they just play. And they have each, like, group of D&D sessions that, like, tell a story all together. They're called campaigns. So Critical Role's second campaign that ended last year is coming back for a 2-shot. And it's, like, 2 sessions that they're doing all together. And it's like over 11 hours of playing that they're doing all together. So that's literally what's keeping me going.
Well, that's wonderful that you have that, and that's exciting. And maybe, kind of getting into that realm, people basically just rolling dice.
Yeah.
So it's easy to understand.
For if you get into the game and like you have to learn everything.
Okay.
But basically, like the basic of it is dice controls everything.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're excited about that, because oftentimes, like movie releases, TV shows, like that always like kind of like makes you excited and helps you get through like, wow, this, I don't know, characters, fiction, they can really just be a part of real life and make it worthwhile in times when it's really tough. Okay, so basically we don't really have a theme for this episode, because if you know anything about Emma, it's that she's indecisive. And
oh my God.
And we're kind of like, we know she wants to be on the show, because obviously who wouldn't want to be on your pal Val, right? That's what I tell myself. And just like in discussions with her about, what she wants to talk about, she's like, I want to talk about everything, but I also don't know what to talk about. So what we kind of landed on is that music is the through line of this episode, because you know what? After all, we are on a radio show, and as much as I love to talk, music, you all know I do. Of course, why wouldn't I? Like, I have a talk show. But basically, when I can get it working, it's possible to play music on here. So the way we kind of introduced you was with the song Volcanic Love by the Aces, not me checking that on my computer. Yes. So I think our listeners kind of want to know, like, why that song?
Okay, so the Aces were a group, and I can, like, my music taste is literally like a whole pipeline back to the beginning of middle school, beginning of high school. And I'm into a lot of the same artists as I was beginning of high school. But the Aces are a band that I discovered through one of my favorite YouTubers at the time, back in 2018. She made a video with them. She's good friends with them, and made a video about them. And I'm like, who the hell are the Aces? So their first album had come out a few months before. So this video was kind of old, but it was a few months old. So I watched it. I was like, who are the Aces? So their first album was called When My Heart Felt Volcanic. And I can't remember how many tracks are on it, but I decided to just shuffle the album, and the first song that came on was Bad Love. And literally fell in love with the song. I remember I was on the train coming back from school and shuffled the album. Bad Love came on, fell in love with the song. Second was the song you just played, Volcanic Love, and it's my favorite song on the album. So the album just itself means a lot to me, because the Aces are my favorite band, and I met them in late 2021 in December. My best friend and I went to the concert together, so I'd been excited. Like, I've been telling her for a while before, I think they're going to go on tour. Like, I think they're going to go on tour. I know they announced their next album, but I have a feeling they're going to release the tour dates soon. And in March 2021, it was like a random night. I was on the couch on the phone with her, and I gotten the text from one of my friends who also liked them at the time. Did you see the tour dates for the Aces? And I was like, I knew it. So, went on, saw the date. It was at Webster Hall on December 9th, and I bought the VIP tickets immediately for me and my best. Like, didn't even ask her, bought 2 tickets on the spot, and she was like, yeah, I'll go with you, absolutely, because my sister, you have to be 16 to get into Webster Hall. My sister wasn't 16 at the time, but my best friend wanted to go, and we both went together. And she has a video somewhere. She has a bunch of pictures of me, like they did a whole Q&A beforehand. And I asked them a bunch of questions.
Like you were the Q and like the Q&A.
Oh yeah,
like,
I was the girl. I was the annoying girl in that crowd that asked 10 questions.
Yeah,
I had been waiting for that moment for was it 2021? So 3 years.
Yeah, because we got into high school 2018. Yeah, so
that was like a very, very big moment for me.
And so like now you can't not think of the song and then like think of the experiences you have with it.
And I didn't think they were going to play it because...
Why wouldn't they play it? It's the title track of the album.
Their second album had come out already. At that time, like by the time they went on tour, their second album came out in July 2021. And the tour was called Under My Influence Tour. And that was the name of their album. Their second album was called Under My Influence. And... they had come out with it, and that was what the tour was for. Obviously, they were going to play some older songs that were very popular. I just didn't think they were going to play.
Probably just didn't want to be disappointed, and like even though they
think they were going to
definitely
play Volcanic Love.
Yeah, okay.
But like I saw the light change because I remember in their first tour, I hadn't been able to go to their first tour. I couldn't really get into any of the venues. Like I wasn't old enough to get into any of the venues. But I remember the light change when I watched the shows on YouTube.
And you knew.
And, like, the pink and the red came on. And, like, I immediately knew. I was in the front, and I was like, it's Volcanic Love. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. It's Volcanic Love. And all the girls around me were like, there's no way. Like, yes, it is. I'm telling you it is. And Crystal, the lead singer, she plays, her guitar. She could play the guitar, too. During this song with the guitarist. And I saw her bring out the guitar. I was like, I'm telling you it's Volcanic Love. I know exactly what song it is. And I heard the intro, and that was it. That was like, I have a video of them playing the intro as I'm like yelling in the background. Because
I can visualize
I have been waiting for that moment for so long, and it happened.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you even knew the lighting based off of, like, it really just shows how much you're into the Aces.
I love these girls.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Yeah. So, like, if you were going to recommend this band to, I don't know. Well, first of all, who would you recommend it to? And second of all, what song or, like, where would you start when you would get into them?
So, okay. Let me think. So they're most
Could it be
popular.
like, oh, I recommend it to everyone? Or is it like it's more niche?
Okay, so not to say that only the girls and the gays would get it, but literally only the girls and the gays would get it. Because it's 3 of them out of the 4 are gay, which is really funny. But their first album was very not really targeted towards any specific audience, so it was just in general. Just a bunch of songs about being in love with someone, breakups, like it was a whole mix of things. Their second album was more targeted towards like gay people, like the girls and the gays, because they were very specific. Okay. Like the lead singer decided, I remember when I watched their mini documentary on YouTube of when they were writing this album, that was the big debate. Like, were they going to use like female pronouns for when they were singing about being in love with someone? Yeah. Because 3 out of the 4 of them wanted to do it. And the 4th one wanted to do it too. They were all in fear of pushback from their record label and just pushback from people in general. And when they came out with this album, and not really any of us, like in the fan base, expected them to do it, but they went ahead and did it, and majority of their most popular tracks are on the second album because they went ahead and did what a lot of artists don't do and pushed for something that was different, and they got more popular because of it, and they got bigger venues and more fans, and just they were able to do a lot more because of that one decision. Not to say that was the only thing. Like, obviously the tracks were great, but that decision in specific just it changed a lot for them as a group. And they're one of, like, aside from another artist that I like, who is probably one of the only other artists that I know of that does it.
Yeah, so, like, if this interests any of you listening, I recommend, from Emma, go check it out. And so the second part of that would be, like, where would you start? Would you be, like, jump right to the second album first, or you'd be like, no? Yeah.
Start with their first EP. Their first EP is called I Don't Like Being Honest. And one of my favorite Aces songs, because, like, in my top 5, Touch is on it. And it's very, like, poppy, like, something of, like, their older music. Because there's a clear difference. There's a lot of their tracks.
Yeah.
They've been together since, I think I was telling you this before, they've been together since Crystal and Elisa, the lead singer and the drummer, they're sisters. Crystal was 9, Elisa was 7.
Oh, wow. So, like, the Aces, all of them?
They've been together since they were, like little.
So
they started when Crystal was 10.
Wow.
So they've been playing together for years.
And yeah, there's something to be said for a band that has, like, all those members who really know each other and vibe together.
They're just 4 best friends that were like, you know what, let's start a band. And that's literally how they've said it. Like, they were 4 best friends in Utah who were like, you know what, let's start a band. And that was it. That was what they did. They put all of their unreleased, like, older albums from when they were, like, they were in their teens on YouTube.
Oh, wow. So they have even more music.
Oh, yeah. There's, like, 3 EPs.
Wow.
If you scroll through their YouTube channel, there's, like, 3 EPs that are unreleased.
Oh, wow. That's excellent, because I'm thinking, like, you only hear 2 albums, and you're like, sometimes it's hard to kind of love somebody the way that you do, just off of that limited amount of tracks.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's really amazing, and, wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, obviously the Aces are not your only music band that you listen to, whatever. They sound amazing, and I'm sure many people will go check them out. But I want to know, like, how would you describe, categorize your music taste? Like, could you put a label on it and package it up in a bow, or you're like, no, it's just, there's no method to the madness?
Girl, no. It's all over the place. Like, all over the place. I'm into a lot of alternative. I have been since I was younger. Like, I grew up listening to alternative music. And that just led into, like, favorite bands in middle school. Like, I will always make fun of myself for this, but I went through a middle school emo phase. And I was a big Paramore fan.
And I remember you telling me, like, I was the crazy one for not going through this middle school emo phase, which I don't know.
I thought it was just a universal thing. Like, a lot of people went through it, but apparently not.
I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe I'm the one who missed out. I really don't know.
No, you're probably not. I'm probably just crazy. No joke. I'm probably just insane.
No, I think everybody, like, goes through their own, like, phases and stages and whatnot. And I think, like, that's like the stereotypical, like, I don't know. To me, it was, like, so stereotypical to the point where I didn't know it was real. And then I met you.
Yeah. So I was into Paramore, MCR, 21 Pilots, who else? Like Slipknot, Fall Out Boy, Green Day, like, all those groups. That was middle school me. And then from there, I kind of faded out. And from then on, it all started, like, beginning of high school. Like, towards the end of middle school, beginning of high school for me, I had just found out I was moving to a Catholic school, so it was kind of like leaving all my friends behind that I had made and starting somewhere new. And that's kind of where, like, not to say that's where my music taste went, but from the beginning of high school, it was just one big pipeline.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting how you mentioned that, because you're like, you really see the origins of, like, middle school, and, like, everything before that was like, I was just listening to music on the radio, like, it wasn't my own personal taste. And then you kind of, like, dove into something was, like, your entry point.
Yep.
And then you really got to, like, what do I actually like? And now you're like, it just, to me, you sound so solid and, like, oh, I love that, or I know right away that this is just not for me, or, like, add it to the Spotify playlist, basically.
It was just, there was, so I had a bunch of artists, like, I think there were a couple I did stick with that I've stuck with now, that I did like in middle school, and literally from there it was just one gigantic pipeline into my music taste now.
Well, that's awesome. So you're kind of like, you're all over the place, which I think is honestly like a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm just into like pop, country, hip hop, like whatever. I think that a lot of people, there's across genres, and I think maybe the fact that you're on here can show that we need to normalize that and not be like, what's your favorite music genre? You know, like,
because when somebody asks me that, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Especially because music is so personal too, and you know, it's hard to kind of, I guess, categorize it, but the fact that there's so much out there kind of just like probably is an encouragement to all to go out there and look what is out there, because the mainstream, you know, radio station is just trying to like keep you listening. It's not really trying to like, you know, I guess show you the world of what's really out there. So yeah. Okay, let's see. What are you listening to the most right now?
Ooh. Taylor Swift just had a new album. I think I just have to say that.
Okay.
The album itself, there were a lot of good tracks on it. Underrated. Not a lot of people are saying it's their favorite track, but Lavender Haze, I really liked it. Wasn't first song I listened to. I listened to
Haze.
It was good.
Sorry, I listened to it once.
Antihero first, but I was like, you know what? That was really good.
No, you listened to the beach one. What's it called?
Snow on the Beach with Lana Del Rey.
Yes.
That one I was a little disappointed about because...
And I know you listened to that one first because we listened to it together at 11:59.
And we were like, oh, okay. Like, I couldn't really hear Lana, but it's fine.
No one could.
And then I listened to Antihero. I was like, okay, that was good. And then I was like, let me just start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I moved to Lavender Haze. Like, this is my song in this album.
Wait, when did you hear, were you listening to that like 12 a.m. or when did you hear about like the extra 7 tracks? Was that
3 a.m. That was her 3 a.m. announcement. Oh, I stayed up. She's like, spontaneous announcement at 3 a.m.
Oh,
okay, well now I have to stay up.
Okay.
So it's midnight's 3 a.m. version, and the 7 extra tracks came out. So she had the 13 original, and then the 7 extra that came out. So midnight's is 20 tracks altogether.
So by the time that you were up at 3 a.m., you'd already listened to the initial 13.
Yep.
Okay, and then you immediately listened to the rest of the 7 tracks.
Yep.
And now you're considering Midnight's to be a 20-track album.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say, yeah.
So if you go on, I actually haven't looked at this, but if you go on to like Spotify, Apple Music, and you just look up Midnight's, which I'm literally doing right now, does it come up as 13 tracks or 20? Oh, it does.
It's Midnight's. I'm not sure anymore, but
it does come up as, oh, okay. So I'm seeing here Midnight's 3 a.m. edition.
Yeah.
20 tracks.
That's all 20. And then the original, just Midnight's, is the 13.
Okay, because it was coming up as like the top result was the Midnight 3 a.m. 3 a.m. edition, and so Midnight's okay. All right, that's very interesting. Oh well, then apparently this one has 14. I don't know. I'm very confused about all of this. Yeah. Taylor Swift has so many songs. I'm uncultured. I have many good friends who are Swifties, and I appreciate them from afar, but I'm also like, they're my songs that I'm into, but
she's not for everybody.
Yeah,
I get that, but I've been a Swiftie since day one, so have to continue it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of country Taylor. I'm not gonna lie, and that's just me. And like her newer songs, some of them can be a bop, but like I haven't really listened to anything extensively off of her last few albums. So.
Yeah.
And Midnight doesn't strike me as, I don't know, that I'm going to be doing that. So. But yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, thanks, Erin, because I just got a text from I'm trying to figure out a way to get listener engagement, and I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, I want to know who's listening, what you guys are thinking, because I feel like if we can tap into what people are saying, then we'll be able to better talk to the masses, and if I figure out a way to do that. So I appreciate, people who have my number and text me about it, because that's helpful. But then at the same time, what if you don't? What if we're expanding our audiences? I'm not just gonna post my number all over the world.
I gotcha.
Because who wouldn't want to call me? Okay, so I feel like we kind of answered this, but what role does music take in your life? Like, we could talk about like how big of a role, like what, like in your daily life, what's your music routine if you have one?
So, I could start back like.
All right, let's talk about today. Like,
okay, today.
Oh, and oh my gosh, thank you to Alexa's listening.
Is she?
Yes. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Kylie. Oh my gosh, y'all
Everyone's
are so sweet.
Wow,
I love you guys.
All here.
Thank you. I appreciate this. So anyway, don't let it distract you.
So today, I literally just shuffled Okay, so there's another album that came out same day as Midnight's, The Car, Arctic Monkeys.
Yes, you were mentioning this.
So I've been listening to that too.
Mm-hmm.
I love Arctic Monkeys. I'm seeing them next year in September. So I'm very excited for that. But I've been listening to The Car all day. Like when I don't have classes and stuff, I've just been listening to it.
Now, is The Car a group?
No, Arctic Monkey. The Car is the
song. I was going to say.
The Car is the album.
Okay. Sorry. I'm very uncultured. Maybe
you're good.
I want to make it known, like, I am also an atypical Gen Z, so typical music that people know, I do not. So I can't tell the line between what is Emma. Like, Arctic Monkeys, I've heard of them before. They're just complete fudge their pronunciation. But anyway, so I understand. And, people like you are, helping me dip my toes in the water. But are you like, okay, you're trying to find new music? Is there something that you're like, I always listen to this song for like 10 years, or I don't know?
I'm always open to listening to new music.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I stick with, I would say, a lot of the same artists, but like, obviously I'm a big Harry Styles fan. I think all of you know that. I love Harry Styles.
The fact that you went to go see him, like, what was it, 3 times?
Yeah. I saw him once by himself, and then I saw him at the One Direction concert in 2014.
Oh, for some reason when you were going into the city, like it was September or whatever, we're like, Emma's in New York, like she's going to see Harry.
Oh, no, I just travel there sometimes for fun.
Okay.
So
cool.
I saw Harry Styles this year.
Yeah.
What else? There are a lot of the same artists that I've been listening to, like Fletcher. I've been listening to Fletcher. Fletcher is going to come up eventually.
She finally did.
She finally comes up in conversation. I've been listening to Fletcher since 2017. And her music in specific, alongside the Aces and Arctic Monkeys and, like, all the other groups that I like, her music specifically has had a great impact on my life. Very big.
Well, that's good to know. And honestly, you are helping me understand more and more who Fletcher is. So maybe for the general audience who might not understand, can we have like a brief?
Okay, so I can just give you the debrief of who she is. Okay, so her name's Carrie Fletcher. She's from the Jersey Shore. She was in the X Factor years ago when she was 17, and I had not known her. But she was in the X Factor, auditioned, got put in a girl group kind of faded off. She went to NYU, and from there she released her first EP, Finding Fletcher.
We love a genius and a musical artist.
Yeah.
Wow.
So on that EP, it was like her first solo music that was released alongside like the group music she had from the X Factor. But that was her first like solo moment to shine. And one of the songs blew up in particular, which is one of the greatest, or like one of the songs that had the greatest impact on her career and greatest impact on my life.
Wow, that's really deep. But I think a lot of people have like that song that kind of like changed their life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that like it's that particular artist for you, and it also took you 37 minutes to mention it. No, okay.
37. Oh my God.
No. But I think it does take a minute to work up to that because she has so much influence in your life.
Yeah.
Really has changed.
This song, I'll talk about it a little bit. This song is called Wasted Youth, and at the time, like the YouTuber, the same YouTuber,
this song that changed your life.
This is the song.
This is the song that changed your life. Wow. Okay, so this is about to get deep.
The same YouTuber that introduced me to the Aces was dating Fletcher at the time. None of us really knew that until the music video for this song came out. So I'd not really like known who she was yet. I knew her EP was out, but I really didn't know who she was. So I know her and the YouTuber that she was dating share a birthday. So around the March 19th time, there was a music video. I was sitting at home, scrolling through my phone and scrolling through YouTube, and it came up in my recommended. It was related to her her name was Shannon, like the YouTuber.
The
I like, her name was
algorithm
Shannon.
knows you.
It was like the algorithm was like, hey, really, this is recommended.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I had no idea. It said like 3 or 4 days ago it had come out. So I was sitting there and I watched the music video. And I don't know what it was, but like that song and that video in particular just made something click within me. At that time, I was 13. I had been severely closeted. So the music video showed the two of them just being, like, it's about just being yourself. The song is about being yourself and not really having the fear to be yourself. And just, not to say waste the days away, but just don't be afraid to be out there and be yourself. And I remember, like, that message hitting me, and that gave me, it sounds so stupid, but like that, it gave me the confidence boost I needed.
I don't think that's stupid at all. I think we all sometimes are like in our own heads to the point where we can't see something unless it's from an outside source, and the fact that that's specifically for you. And I think everybody needs that moment of like that confidence or like being secure in who you are, and that who you are is enough, no matter who you are, your background. And so specifically for you, it's very interesting to see how that song did it for you.
Mm-hmm. That was the song that like changed my life. Definitely.
I love that.
And from there, like the Fletcher pipeline just began. That was, I started listening to the EP on repeat, and a couple years later, she announces she was signed by Capitol Records, one of the biggest record companies in the world. And she like makes the big announcement. Whole bunch of artists like congratulate her and everything. I remember all this happening. I was on Instagram when it was happening. It was really cool. So she releases one of the songs that like fans before she got signed knew she had this song written, and we were just waiting for her to release it. So when she got signed, we were like, okay, like, Carrie, when are you going to release on Drunk? And we were all waiting for it. And when she dropped the song in 2019, it blew up. And it was all over the radio. It was all over Z100. Like, I remember hearing it, sitting in a car with 3 of my friends, hearing it come on Z100 for the first time. I was like, no way, that's Fletcher. And from there, she released her EP, You Ruined New York City for Me. And she continued to release music. And a month ago, she released her first album, Girl of My Dreams. And she's one of the artists that, like, I was talking about before with the Aces, like, was not afraid to be who she was. So she wrote about, like, relationships she's had with girls that has changed her life. Like, that's what You Ruined New York City for Me was about. And what this album is about too. So she was one of the artists that just also gave me the confidence boost that I needed. Just don't be afraid to be yourself. And that's one thing that, like, I continue to fear. I don't talk about this a lot, but one of the things that I continue to fear is, what are people going to say? Like, what are people going to think? And that's why initially I just choose not to tell people and see where it goes, because I get so scared. And although, like, people throughout my life that I've met along the years, specifically my 2 best friends, coincidentally both named Lily. It's the weirdest thing in the entire world. One I met in high school, the other one I met on Twitter during the pandemic. And yes, little bit of an odd circumstance how we met, but they're my favorite people in the entire world. And both of them specifically have changed my life in that sense. They're like, don't be afraid to be who you are, be out there. And yeah, they're 2 people I love. I don't know how I got onto talking about them.
No, I love that.
One of them I met first day of high school, and I was sitting alone, and she came over and was like, hey, can I sit with you? And, of course, me being me, I was quiet until she started talking about softball, and then I, apparently did not stop talking. That's exactly how she tells it. And from then on, we were best friends. As
Aww.
crappy as situations might have been, through the years, we were just each other's favorite person. And we could not, I will always say to her, we couldn't get away from each other. I will always come back to you, you'll always come back to me. I don't know how it happens, but we can't get away from each other. So
special friendships kind of can do that, and the fact that you have somebody who is a healthy friend and that is so supportive. I think that sometimes we undervalue friendships in the way that they can really transform our lives.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, in just general media, so much focus is on romantic relationships and what it's like to be with a partner. But we oftentimes forget about the other relationships we have, with our family, or even sometimes more powerfully are the people that we choose to surround ourselves with, who are our friends.
And I learned that through the years, that these two in specific, the other one I met during the pandemic. Pandemic was a very big time of me sitting down. I literally a week before the pandemic started and we went into lockdown, I had just gotten broken up with by my first girlfriend. So I was heartbroken, a wreck. And I decided to jump onto Twitter because I had just been expanding new hobbies.
I mean, who wasn't on Twitter during the pandemic?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I wasn't, but that's not the point.
But I had just been expanding new hobbies, looking for things to do. And there was a tweet. It was like this. And they were all over the place. It was like this to be in a group chat for this specific thing.
Yeah.
So I did. And little did I know, never would have I expected this girl would become my best friend. 3 years later, here we are. And 2 years. Was it 2 years? 2 years. A little over 2 years.
Yeah, it's almost 3 years.
Yeah, almost
in
3
March.
years. Here we are, and she has become my best friend. So we met.
Wow.
She was the admin of this group chat. She's the one that wrote that tweet that I liked. And we didn't really talk that much at first, but
over time
we started talking, and she's she's one of my favorite people in the world. We both have this weird thing. We're the same person. It's so weird. But we're always in the same wavelength. So whenever I text her something, I'm struggling, going through it, losing it, she's like, dude, I was about to text you the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So she just...
Yeah.
I could talk about that girl for hours, but we FaceTime almost every day.
Wow.
And
that's incredible, the way that the internet works, because you were telling me she lives down in Georgia.
She does.
And, by the way, I love it down there. I've been there once in my life, and just absolutely love it there. But the fact that you would have never otherwise crossed paths had you not had a common interest in the internet, and I know for, different, people who don't feel like they fit in necessarily, and not saying that you are that person, but just, that people who come from, I'm interested in this, that nobody I'm around in my small circle of high school weirdo people. I don't know, high school's weird.
Yeah, that was for me.
And
too.
the fact that you can find online people who resonate with you, and that you're able to grow and connect with people in a different way is so special, because it wasn't possible 20 years ago.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I am thankful for, the internet today, because without it, I wouldn't have met her. And without it, how would I have been able to stay connected with my friends that I made through the pandemic? How could I have continued those friendships?
Yeah.
Found new ones.
And even now being away from home, how are you able to connect with family? Exactly.
It's just, it can be a bad thing at times, but I try to view it as a good thing, just because it helps me stay connected to people. But, all these things, in retrospect, all these different things, the people... my music taste, my hobbies, as much as I still have the fear today that people are not, I'm in constant anxiety. It's fine, I have 5 more minutes. Constant anxiety, constant fear that people are not going to like me for who I am.
Yeah.
That was a big fear coming to college. are people going to like me? People want to be friends with me?
Yeah, and I think that's everybody to an extent. And the fact that you're saying this right now, I am sure, even if there's like 5 listeners, I'm sure at least one of those people can resonate with the fact of like not being like confidence is something that is, it's not just like you're not born with it. You have to like develop it and become like who you are. And I think everybody can resonate to agree with that. Like thinking about what other people think about them. And something that helps me get through that, and I'm not trying to be an advice column because Lord knows I don't have any advice, but it's the fact that like oftentimes people are so consumed with just like how other people perceive them that nobody's even thinking about anyone else.
Yeah.
To the point where I realize that sometimes I'm like so consumed about what are people thinking about this, and I'm like they're not thinking at all. They're thinking about what they think I think of them. If that makes sense. So
it's just it's like specifically my issue with openly liking women. It's I was in serious fear that people would not accept it, like it, and just I'm always in fear, like 24/7. But all of these things, all the people I met, music, my hobbies, they all give me that little confidence boost I need just to keep going and just not be afraid to be out there, try different things, be myself. And it sounds really corny, but it's the truth.
It's true.
It's the truth.
Yeah. And I think it's really important for everybody to find those things that they, like an outlet or something that they can just, I don't want to say resonate with again, but you know what I mean? Just like having something where you can connect and really feel like you can truly be yourself. And that way, when you have those communities, it's enabling you to do the same thing out in the real world where it's harder to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, Emma.
It's 1:50. I have class in 10 minutes in Canisius, so...
I know you want to just talk forever on your Pal Val. I mean...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd talk all day if I could.
I know, and I just want to say, like, I am so grateful for you coming on my podcast, sharing your story and your music taste. I think it's very interesting. Hopefully we'll open the door for other people to, like, experiment.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I'm sure, people are going to be begging for you to come back. So.
Oh, I'm sure. I hope so, at least.
So you already know my favorite segment, which is not a major psychoanalysis, is going to be me. It's going to be very generous. Don't worry. You'll hear it later. But I don't have any content for this segment, so I'm going to be psychoanalyzing you. So why don't you kick it out of here?
Oh, no.
Go to class. What's your class?
History.
This
class is so boring, I'm going to be honest.
She was hoping it was going to be canceled because of the Wi-Fi.
I was hoping, but apparently not.
Bye, girl.
See ya.
All right. So, for the rest of y'all, with the rest of our remainder of 10 minutes, we're going to do our not a major psychoanalysis, my absolute favorite segment. And I'm essentially going to be psychoanalyzing Emma just a little bit based off of this conversation. And I think, honestly, I don't really have that much depth to go into here. I think it's just that, we've learned that she's a genuine person. She's not afraid to be who she is, and she's not afraid to tell people what she really thinks. And I think that's something that we really have to value more and not be afraid of what people think of us, because in this world, there's so much judgment. And even if you think about cancel culture, you say one thing at one time and you're written off for the, eternity, essentially. That's really scary, and it's hard to, in this age of the internet, say something because you don't know how popular belief is going to change, in years down the line, or what people think. So honestly, I see a lot of genuine, genuineness, or I don't know the right word, but she's extremely genuine and really just offering who she is. And I think that's something that we can all take from this and, really appreciate and try to implement in our own lives. I think what I'm going to do for the next couple of minutes to send Emma out before I close out the show is to play a song that she's asked me to, and it's called Feel by Fletcher, who Emma had just mentioned was, very influential into her life. And I think that if we listen to the song that she says is so important, maybe we can get more of an idea of that. So enjoy listening to this song for the next 3 minutes.
I remember that time when you took my hand, looked into my eyes, said I got you, darling. Shivers up my spine and down my back, somersaults inside my stomach. You let the spark fly high into the night. night and I tried to hold 'em. I'm reeling in the ash and smoke, 'cause you came and broke my heart wide open. So I'll drink this wine like it's medicine for the mind. Onto my tongue, oh, 'cause I still taste your love all in my bones, head to my toes. Doing time, trying to heal, do anything so I don't feel you. I used to hate the cigarette taste, but when I'm all in, I can't help but want it. I hit and miss you on my lips, so I numb your kiss with a gin and tonic. So I'll drink this wine like it's medicine for the mind. Onto my tongue, oh, 'cause I still taste your love all in my bones, head to my toes. Doing time, trying to heal, do anything so I don't Now I'm lying here awake, just staring at the ceiling fan, spinning round in circles all over again. So I'll drink this wine like it's medicine for the mind. Onto my tongue, oh, 'cause I still taste your love all in my bones, head to my toes. Doing time, trying to heal, do anything so I don't feel you.
All right, so that was Feel by Fletcher, and thank you so much, Emma, for the recommendation. I hope you all enjoyed that. Now I'm just going to take this opportunity to close out our show and look ahead of saying that we have some more pals who want to come on. Next week, we're going to have the person who created the name of this podcast, Ava, and also one of our very, very supportive listeners, Aaron. So if you're interested in hearing what they have to say, come on, listen again, Tuesdays, 1 to 2 p.m. as always. And just remember that if you're not scheduled to go in on the calendar, as far as you know, please let me know. All are welcome on this podcast. I want to hear what you have to say. Stories are meant to be told. Words matter. And I want you to be authentic, be your true selves, just like Emma was today. That was a beautiful episode. I really appreciate her really just coming on and sharing who she was. And I think that really gave us all a message of support going forward. So I just want to remind you all that you are beautiful, loved, amazing. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you so much for listening. I'll give a shout out to Aaron, Alexa, Kylie, Ava. Thank you all so much for listening and texting me. Ella too. Oh my gosh. And anyone else who's listening that I didn't mention, thank you so, so much. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. This would not be possible without you and all of your encouragement. So again, have a wonderful day and the rest of your week. So bye for now, pals. It's Val signing off. Until next time. Bye.